Hello people, and welcome back to part 20 of Palaven, our vanilla Cities Skylines build. We're having a wonderful day. And as part 20 is a city recap, we're going to recap kind of episodes 12 up to 19 today, and take a look back at some of these areas, and now they've kind of grown up and developed, and things are level 5, and public transport systems are flowing. And yeah, for those that don't know, every 10 episodes, or every episode that ends in 0, we do a city recap. And thank you for the likes, comments, suggestions, and ideas you guys dropped on the high density residential canal build. You guys really enjoyed it, and it was a fine return to form, if I do say so myself. I really enjoyed this one, it's really good. Even though everyone is sad, but ignore that. We did go with Canalven as the name of this place. That was an excellent idea. Yeah, I had a good laugh at that one. So thank you for the suggestions of the names. Do keep them coming in the comments, and we will continue to name areas after your guys' suggestions. However, let's go ahead and dive into episode 12, where we worked on the Metro Farmland. This was a really kind of unique design. It's something I hadn't really tried before, and it's unusual to kind of see these two assets and themes paired together. But the key thing of this build was seeing these crop fields here up alongside the metro. And we'll wait for a train to come. Oh, there we go. Missed him. Of course. Let's wait for another one. There he goes. So yeah, really like this kind of aesthetic that we've got going on in the Metro Farmland. Most of the crop fields are centered around this side of the road here. We've got the main building, and we did a ton of fence, rock and tree detailing around this area. Just to help bring a little more personality to the roadside. Got a little bit of storage here as well. Also with the worker barracks right outside the metro square here. Again, more rock and fence detailing. It's all over this part of town. We went with an amusement park path behind the worker barracks as well, which actually worked out really nicely because it's got this like cobbled red brick kind of vibe about it. And it works really nicely with these kind of assets and themes. If you use the one with decorations and you're going to get the palm trees, but the one without decorations actually works really nicely, and it's getting some use as well. This lady is heading off to work. There she goes. Yeah. Nice little windmills here as well. Probably refine this a little bit. It's a little bit like copy and paste at the minute. Kind of lots of empty space here, so probably do a touch more detailing around here in an eventual Palaven live stream. Hint, hint. Coming soon. We also grouped a bunch of the pollutive buildings right up alongside the highway. Very similar to what we did over with the forest industry. Kind of having the pollutive stuff on one side with the factory right up front. It really helps add a nice industrial view from the highway. And we wanted to do something similar with this highway here as well. It's not too bad. There is still a bit of empty space around here. Like stuff like this isn't really up my alley. You need to change this at some point. And maybe refine this little forest here a little bit more as well. But yeah, the Metro Farmland build did turn out quite nicely, and we've also got some little greenhouses in here as well, which really help add, you know, just another layer of spiciness to the build, I suppose. Like everything else seems to. Yeah, the Metro Farmland turned out nicely, and it was a nice way of integrating the first metro line into the city as well. Now episode 13 saw us arrive at the Riverside suburb here, and we've still got a little bit of work to do, but the main feature, the main spice of this build was Palaven Creek, which you guys really enjoyed. We did some terraforming here to link the river through up to a little water dispenser. What's it called? Freshwater outlet, not dispenser. Up from kind of the national park here, which we'll cover in a moment as well. Yeah, and the creek just flows like nice down here. Got some nice little countryside paths and mossy bridges that are crossing over. The one further down gets a little more use. See if we can find that one. Yeah, some nice rocks here, but a nice little curve into the creek. Really is just both tasty and delicious. You can catch some people walking across here. Yeah, so this is definitely kind of the main feature of this area. The suburb itself isn't kind of overly complicated, some varied road patterns, tried to stay away from the grids. And we do want to come ahead and detail up this waterfront here as well. And we're also now seeing this little elevated waterfront bike path getting a bit of use, which is just wonderful. Because now it's actually linked into somewhere for them to go. Yeah, they actually have a reason to use it. And this will expand into the Green Cities waterfront down here as well. At some point when we come to work on that, probably in the 20 episodes at some point. Yeah, but it's only very light detailing around here at the moment. There's kind of, you know, some big chunky rocks and whatnot. The water is kind of freaking out there. Invisible walls. Yeah, this whole neighbourhood is Green Cities. There's cycle highways integrated throughout it as well. Also a bus line. That's a mistake on my part. Don't have the bus lines where the cycle lanes are. There's no point in that. Yeah, so here's the Metro Farmland. You see how nice those greenhouses look in amongst all the crop fields now. Wonderful. Yeah, worked on a couple of little different roundabout designs as well, just to kind of help, you know, break the pattern of the regular detailing up. There's also a really nice city park here as well, which actually links people through over to the Metro. Let's have a little look at the stats on this one. So Hillside Garden, it's getting a ton of visitors and it's making a tiny little bit of profit as well. I wonder if this is as much as Pollington Park, actually. I'm pretty sure Pollington's through the roof. Yeah, so Pollington gets loads just because it's near the stadium and public transport routes, so oh, look at that shot, man. I could sit and look at Palaven for hours. By far one of the most beautiful cities I've ever built. Not to toot my own horn, I hope you guys agree. Anyway, let's continue. There was another roundabout design over here as well. We did a little elevated zoo path one, which was wonderful. There's some trees, bushes, rocks, a little path through the middle and a bridge over the top. Yeah, it just helps to draw the eye to the roundabout, I suppose, is kind of the take-home theme from these little designs. I also worked on a lovely little school park design as well, all focused around the high school where the bus stops out front. Some people milling around here. They're off the path to join the creek as well. And they're kind of big, is it Institute of Creative Arts? I think this asset is called, from Green Cities. There's a playground in here too, which is linked through to different sides. Probably do a little more commercial zoning around here. It's a little bit bare right now. So again, another note to make on. And then, of course, a couple of basketball courts and some more Green Cities commercial zoning over here too. In terms of this space here, we kind of have this little awkward gap right now. Like we can see kind of chunks of Palaven starting to fill in, but we've got some of these little awkward empty spaces still left. This will eventually be the second part of the University of Technology episode. We'll expand into some of the larger, bigger buildings on this front right here. And yeah, University of Technology Part 2 will be in the 20s at some point, I guess, as well. But yeah, we actually built this suburb and then detailed it in the next episode as well. Ran some more of these little pathways with fences coming through the middle. Let's get a look at this place at daytime, actually. So I will try and include some nighttime shots in this episode as well. Yeah, there's some more detail over here as well. This is one of my favourite ways to kind of detail just an empty street. It doesn't all have to be zoning. Throw in a fence, some repeated tree patterns, and a little bit of overgrowth. And you'll give yourself just a much nicer, organic look in, especially if you're using Green Cities. This is a really nice way of detailing these neighbourhoods. And then we also began that transition during that episode as well into the higher density stuff, which we can see those layers forming now from last episode with the canal one. So we're kind of seeing these different layers of height emerge as we get closer to the downtown over here. And again, it would not be a Green Cities neighbourhood without some of these elevated zoo paths in here as well, which flow over the metro. Yeah. Again, it's just so pretty and green, isn't it? The map download is also in the description as well, by the way. If you do want to come and explore Palaven for yourself. It will be updated to episode 19 to include the high density stuff over here. So go ahead and download it if you haven't already. So yeah, that was kind of episodes 13 and 14, was designing this neighbourhood. And again, get the map download, go and explore it for yourself and see what you think. And episode 15 saw us work on the nature reserve and oil combination. So this was two particular styles that aren't really friendly to each other, but I think we managed to pull it off. I think for a first attempt, it's not bad. So we have this kind of natural peak here that comes with the Murky Coast map. And that you can see this side is very unfinished. This looks horrendous. We will, when we come to work on this corner of the map, we'll tidy this up. We're not going to leave it like that. Yeah, so kind of a natural peak. Absolute tons of rock and tree detailing along this. It was just kind of an empty rock face, kind of like this one here. It was empty mud slopes. It's very boring. But we came in, threw a whole bunch of rock assets down. A couple of caves in here as well. Also added in a second creek, which flows kind of in front of the park here. Got a wonderful little wooden bridge that flows over here as well. But it's kind of only detailed on one side at the moment, so it's a little bit naked, a little bit exposed to the elements. I'm pretty sure we're going to place the zoo in here. If not a little bit further down. Where's the map boundary? Yeah, so kind of this little triangle, I guess you could call it, will be the zoo eventually when we come to work, which I think will be next episode. We'll do the zoo. We did have a request for it last episode. Or was that in the Discord? Can't remember. I think it was a comment. Some more wonderful little detailing here using some of those nature reserve assets. Tents, little campfire. Some people using them as well. Then the path then begins to climb the mountain. Passing by some wind farms here. And then, oh, path's a little bit overgrown. And then this one heads down over there. But this path gets no use. It's really just for kind of aesthetic purposes. As we head back over. I'll carry on climbing up the mountain here. Getting lots more of this fractured, old, rickety wooden fence kind of detail in here as well. We get a lot of this near where I live in the Lake District, kind of these, you know, old fences that were built like 100 years ago that have just been weathered away. Again, kind of circles up the mountain here. On a bike. Welcome. And then we have like another little mountainside campsite here as well. Little kind of table and chairs and campfire, little outhouse, tents, and just wonderful. The national park assets are really nice to detail with. It's a shame there isn't any more of them. Obviously you end up kind of repeating the same patterns a lot of the time. And then we have an actual campsite asset up here as well, further up the hill. Tried to blend it in, just by surrounding it with some of those conifers that actually come built in with the asset. And then a little further ways up as well, we arrive at kind of the viewpoint here, which is, you know, that Palaven view is now developing every time we come back here. The Black Gold Nature Reserve is only level 3, so again, I think once we return over to this corner here to fill it out, we'll definitely kind of add some more Nature Reserve stuff in to bring the Black Gold up to level 5. Did a very over-the-top national park bridge here. Some people suggested using cable cars, and I can kind of get on board with the cable cars, and I think, again, when we come back to this corner, we may look at introducing some of them. But I do kind of like this very dramatic climb up to the top of the national park. It's nice. So yeah, about 60% done with this nature reserve. The kind of the oil assets here, the oil themes. So obviously using the natural resources overlay. Palaven, or Murky Coast, sorry. It does come with oil in this part of the map. So I wanted to kind of come up with the vibe that this oil industry is on its way out, you know, it's being pushed away. And kind of the, you know, the renewable green is replacing it, and it's just hanging on to its kind of its last rights to remain here and pillaging the earth of its resources kind of thing. And yeah, kind of placing some of these little oil wells here, drew some fences around them. They did turn out quite nicely, I think. Not the most efficient use of the space, and Palaven probably won't have a major oil field. Bergusia had a big one, and there was recently a modular build of one as well, so whether or not we do one in Palaven will depend on whether or not we take up the 25 or 81 tile mod way in the future. So yeah. See now how all those little paths kind of link up with one another. We've also got some nice wind farms in here as well. Check out that viewpoint. Now it's nighttime. Oh, can you imagine when we have the downtown sat there? It's going to be beautiful. One day, I promise, we will get to the downtown. Suspense is everlasting. And once we had finished with the oil well nature reserve, we headed over to this little peninsula again, which you guys confirmed multiple times in the comments for me that it is actually recognised as a peninsula. So thank you for the geography lesson. I did not know. Yeah, so we had our little small town vibes here. This is the Green Cities neighbourhood, and kind of the ring road flows up and down here as well. And yeah, we just went for a little bit of office zone in here, touch of nightlife, and then a single unique building with a little emergency services department around the back of it. The ring road flows under this kind of main suspension bridge here, which is a really nice integration of, again, different layers of height and spiciness. And once we kind of have people coming and going over this bridge as well and hook the ring road in to the downtown, you know, we're going to be seeing so many different ways of people moving around. We've also prepared a new metro line here as well, which links up with a tram. So once this metro fires off and runs into the downtown, this square is going to get mega busy, which will be nice to see. Also went with a little bit of very specific high-density residential zoning. You know, we don't want kind of the real tall skyscrapers just yet. We'll save them for the downtown. But, you know, just some little apartment blocks that aren't single houses like these over here, you know? Like, this is just like a family house. Whereas these, you know, they're just like maybe 12 or 13 apartments. We're just starting to see that layer build. We kind of get a good view from it here as well. You can just see little bits of height beginning to emerge, and that's really important for detail in your cities as well. You know, you don't want to fly into high density, you want to transition into it. And I think we've achieved that quite well in this particular episode. In terms of detailing, we've got a wonderful little elevated walkway that links people from the metro over to the unique building. And we also ran with a single amusement park path with decoration in front of the casino, which is super simple, but I think it works quite nicely. We've also prepared, of course, an elevated zoo path and a cycle path to run parallel with kind of this main avenue that will flow into the downtown eventually. So that'll be really nice once they're getting some use as well. This will be the start of a new cycle highway, kind of from suburb into high density. We can see as well it is going to link up with methods of public transport, which is always important. Make sure that they do collide and people can switch from one method to the other without having to drive. You will notice a difference in the long run. Yeah, again, kind of more detail in here. We did lots more fence and rocks around here. And again, another little repeated tree pattern. Just to decorate this kind of empty ring road that we had. As you can kind of see, there's still a little bit more to do here as well. There will be, in terms of the live streams when they come back, Palaven will have like a Palaven live micro detailing session where we come back through into these kind of areas and flesh out these, rather than kind of doing full builds, which are obviously saved for the episodes. I boxed in some of these Palaven pines using the zoo fence, and also kind of glitched in a little street light into the base of the tree. And you can kind of get this little vibe from them at night time. It's almost like the base of the tree is illuminated, almost like spotlights. And that works really nicely with this office zoning as well. There's some mini park life detail in here as well, some little flower beds and tables and little cafe. All for the workers. Yeah, so this kind of transition from low to high density worked really nicely. And we'll continue that theme as we get onto the downtown as well. You know, we're not just going to have skyscrapers like right here. You know, there will be a climb up and up and up. Which will be a fun little project to work on. After we'd finished over here, we headed just a short drive down the ring road into the fishing marina. Now, this is the first city that I had started from scratch since the release of Sunset Harbour, so Berguzia didn't really have room for a fishing marina by the time this stuff all came out. But I really like this idea. Just a couple of little piers. I've actually changed them since we built this. Now put in the shellfish marina and the salmon one as well. Just because the tuna ones had kind of lots of concrete on them and didn't really fit the kind of small town little marina that I wanted to go for. I also include the fishing market here as well, which is a really nice looking asset, and also a warehouse that just stores up some zoned commercial goods. Just so we had another industrial one here. We did want to run with the fish factory, but it's a polluted building. and we're a little close to the suburbs to be dealing with pollution right here. So we excluded it and just went with the warehouse instead, which I think worked out quite nicely. And again, we just kind of got this general small town expansion as we arrive at the fishing marina as well. Use an ore industry fence to kind of box off the fishing marina. You know, you wouldn't just be able to walk into this thing, you do have to go through the entrance. And again, some more chunky rock detailing around here as well, lots of trees. Kind of running parallel with our one-way flow system here. I see how people are moving up and down it. So now, the one-way flow systems are really helpful even in the small rural areas as well. You know, they're not just for kind of the high-density downtown stuff. Also ran this little elevated walkway which runs from the fishing market over here. Again, lots more fence and rocks. Palaven is like 90% fences, like, and 5% rocks, 2% trees, and I don't know, 3% spice. I don't know. So this runs over the marina, getting some small use. Man on his bike there. And then actually hooks up with the University of Technology, which is residing over here. This is testing. This hasn't been approved. Ignore that. Yeah, so flows over the highway as well, which is a really nice, nice layer of height again. We actually terraformed this down again. So, University, Highway, Fishing Marina. You know, this is a really nice way of using those terraforming tools to create those layers of height with the land as opposed to the buildings as well. Yeah, really liked it. Included a tiny little bit of industrial zone in here. And also a touch of commercial, but this asset isn't right. We need to refine this one out a little bit more. And then this road on the other side kind of circles around through a little bit of a country back road here. Then hooks into the highway. And we will be upgrading this intersection as well, either into a diverging diamond. Actually, let me know what you guys want. Do you guys want this to become a diverging diamond or a double trumpet? And if you let me know, then we can build whichever is the most preferred, I guess. But yeah, also drew out this bridge during this episode as well, again for more of those high density vibes. Building those layers of concrete and density as we move towards the downtown. I feel like I'm repeating that a lot this episode. That's like the 10th time I've said it. Yeah, so really happy with the fishing marina. You can totally take this shape and do it like a big L or kind of like a... I don't know. That's the extent of my imagination. Yeah, you can do whatever shape you want, just terraform it out and then do the dirt roads. You know, if you haven't seen this episode, check out the playlist and you can check it out. It was episode 17, which I have just checked my phone to make sure it was. But yeah, fishing marina turned out lovely, and it's a nice little way to fill out this corner, I think. After we had finished episode 17, we headed over to the Riverside suburb again to begin work on our rural town centre design. And this is the beautiful Dawson. Really like this build. It is special. So coming from the national park over here is the Blackgold Nature Reserve. We emerge down a fine little country road with lots of trees and rocks. Again, this needs lots more detailing. Which will cover... There's a little bit of traffic there, isn't there? Welcome to Dawson. Yeah, so lots more detailing up alongside this road here. And then we arrive into a little high school and a little commercial sector here with some trees. Some fences as well, surprisingly. Yeah, it's just... It's lush. Is the definition of the word lush. As we arrive into the town, we switch to an asymmetrical 3-lane, which is decorated and flanked by some conifers and fences. Again, more walking paths up here as well, which is just adding to those small town vibes. And then we merge into the actual town centre, where we did some very specific commercial zoning, placed in a library. Got a little petrol station in here as well, some kind of commercial shops. And there's kind of paths running all along the back of these as well, with more fence and tree detailing. A little dog park on the corner. More paths. More commercial. More trees. You can see the themes developing here. Yeah, but this kind of turned into one of my favourite designs. We used the Real Life City Inspiration tab on the Discord server to kind of get some inspiration for this little... I don't know what this shape is. It's not a square. 7 sides. So is that a septagon. That's probably wrong and I've made myself look an idiot. I don't know geometry. I'm sorry. Whatever this shape is, it turned out really nicely. And yeah, kind of get a nice little bird's eye view from it here. And then from kind of each of the corners, we just drew out some really basic residential patterns. We set the theme to European suburbia, which is one of the... I think it's the content creator pack. Pretty sure it is. It's not a full expansion. Also hooks back into the cycle path here as well. See if we're heading off back down that waterfront now. And this will continue down the waterfront down this end as well when we come to build that. Yeah, but you know, just kind of very small houses. We didn't want any of the really fancy ones. Like if we head back over to like somewhere like here, you know, you've got these like really big, fancy, several hundreds of thousands of pounds, if not £1,000,000 houses. And then they're very kind of bright and colourful. And we didn't want that for the rural stuff. And I think the European suburbia worked out really nicely. Lots more paths and fences. I know I'm gonna get some comments about that. Through the middle of these things, switching from dirt road back to tarmac, just to help, you know, develop some of those country vibes. And we've got a nice little forest border in here as well. What we are going to do when we come to implementing the first rail systems into Palaven, we're going to elevate this rail kind of like up on a dirt bank as opposed to having it flat on the ground. And then we'll also run the main road alongside this as well. And probably bring off a little rural train station into this point here as well, which will probably flow into the downtown once I get around to planning in that infrastructure, which I obviously haven't done yet. But yeah, so Dawson's lovely. Oh yeah, can't forget about this. Did a little emergency services block and more fences. Like, just look how much a fence adds to a region. It is pretty unreal. They are really good. Just helps us segment things off, you know. Which a lot of time is the problem in cities, because it just kind of flows from one thing into another without really any real definition between them. We're doing some basic pavement paths here, just to kind of fill out some green space we had next to the fire station. And then we also have the path that links back into the school park over there and the bus lanes. It's really nice to see so many people using these paths over the creek. It really is nice. Yeah, really like this part of town. You guys really enjoyed it as well. And yeah, it's not even finished yet. We'll definitely come back and work on that rural waterfront at some point. Probably maybe 2 or 3 episodes time. And probably integrate some train systems into that as well, which would be lovely. And then of course, once we had finished with the rural town centre, we then began work on the high density canal, which is probably, I think, my favourite style to build in. Yeah, just look at that. Canals, water, green cities housing. I haven't made that historical. No! It's happened again. I thought I changed that. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm past caring at this point. Just play with plot growables. Okay, so Metro Line is here. Riverside Suburb is here. And we have a trolleybus network, which is the first of its kind. Actually, looks like we might need to boost up the line here. Have a little check. Oh yeah, look at this. It's busy. Fantastic. Let's throw on even 4 more vehicles. Yeah, so worked on a lovely little kind of metro centre design here again as well. You can see how many people are using the metro to actually come to this area. Lots of more green cities, commercial, more fences, more trees. It's all the same. But you guys seem to enjoy it anyway. Another high school here as well, with some really kind of like basic paths out the front. We'll do something a little spicy with this in the detailing episodes. I got a little more space behind here as well for some more high density, which we'll certainly do well. And then again, coming back to those returning layers of height and depth within the city, we've got a lovely little nature reserve fence that runs the length of this main road. And then kind of drops down here into the entrance of the canal area. Got our trolleybus depot here too. And some emergency services and commercial zoning clustered around it. The entrance is actually really nice. We use one of the avenues with grass from the After Dark DLC. Just to help switch up the road textures a little bit. And then we also did some lovely fence detailing along here as well, with some trees and overgrowth around the commercial. Just to fill out that idea that not everything has to be zoned. Some stuff can be overgrown, especially if you're building in this kind of boreal map theme as well. Yeah, let's get a little view of the Canal Network here. So it actually cuts this land in half. This is now, I guess you could class this as an island. We'll do something really spicy with this at some point as well. It's got some like natural features on this peninsula. Island, whatever it's called. Yeah, so kind of this is the main waterway flowing through here. Got some little trolley bus bridges that are coming back and to. These are just the new buses, they'll space out eventually, don't worry about that. Yeah, again, this build was all about developing those themes. Even the road networks now are becoming chunkier and denser as we get towards the downtown, you know. And yeah, little suspension cables coming across the river, ready to be turned into the sunken highway, which will flow into the downtown. Yeah, worked on a little commercial park here as well. Got a Japanese garden. No, this is the tropical garden. Carousel, lots more green cities zoning. A park life plaza with some park life assets. Strategically placed around the back with lots of kind of dirty mud paths through the middle. It's all very green and lush, and we've got a little bridge here as well where our trolley buses kind of turn around at the end of their loop. Yeah, it's just a really nice vibe. This was, I'm pretty sure I've said this about every build so far, but this is one of my favourite builds in the city again. Purely because I love building this style. The canals just work so well with the green city stuff. Commercial and low and high density residential. We'll definitely use canals again at some point. We may even do a canal district in the downtown because we've got more than enough land mass here to work something like that in. But we're a little while away from that yet. So yeah, the Green Canal. Oh yeah, we also did, can't forget about this. You know, I didn't want immediate zoning right up next to the river here, so we did this little kind of border parkland between the river and the houses. And you can really see at night time just how much those green cities buildings like really come to life as they just kind of peek through the trees and really help to illuminate that riverfront. Suspension bridge looks great at night time as well. Yeah, super big fan of this area, and this theme kind of continues down here as well. Also did some little kind of cute bench and streetlight detail in here as well, so people can sit on the river, kind of look out onto the downtown. It's a shame Sims don't use these park life assets, but I guess there's a mod for it anyway. Okay guys, that is going to do it for today's episode and the second city recap of Palaven. I do hope you guys are still enjoying these. If you do want to include them, then of course we will, but I think most of you do enjoy them anyway. But yeah, hang around for the rest of the outro tage here and check out some of these areas that we've just covered in a nice little cinematic spiciness vibe that we usually do. Just a quick thank you for all the support. We are very nearly at 20,000 subscribers, and yeah, that figure is mind-blowing. We were at 3,000 in March, so nearly 17,000 new people in little less than 5 months is incredible. So thank you for all the people that have joined the channel. I really do appreciate you guys sticking around to watch my videos. Yeah, I love talking to you guys. Live streams will be back very soon. So I look forward to speaking to you guys live. If you're not in the Discord, it's already down in the description. And there is also a link down to Instant Gaming where you can find some codes if you want to help support the channel. You can also do it by that way. I get a little fee of everyone that buys through my link. So if you want to support the channel and get some games at the same time, the link is in the description. I won't push that too hard, don't worry. Yeah, hang around for the rest of the outro tage. Enjoy the cinematics, but otherwise I'll leave it there. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.